Daily life is full of negotiations that can drive you crazy. Over breakfast, you get into an argument with your spouse about buying a new car. You think it's time, but your spouse says, we can't afford it right now. Then you go and you arrive at work for a meeting with your boss. You present her with a carefully prepared proposal for a new project, but she interrupts within the first minute and says, we already tried that and it didn't work. Now in the afternoon, you take a contract to a new client to get it signed. They have already agreed to all the terms verbally, so a simple signing on the dotted line is all that is required to make it official. But then he says, my boss won't let me sign this unless you give us a further 10% discount. At night, you want to watch your favorite TV show, but your 13-year-old daughter wants to watch her favorite show. Obviously, your show is better. She yells at you saying, you should just buy me my own TV so I can watch whatever I want. The great news is that each one of these situations could be navigated in a productive and effective win-win outcome for all parties involved using the 4-step process of negotiating with difficult people. Let's take the breakfast situation. You're bothered because your spouse rejected your request to purchase a car, stating you could not afford it at this time. Your feelings got hurt and/or you absolutely and completely disagree with him. You lash out and tell him he's wrong and that he never supports what you want and need. Sound familiar? Lashing out is obviously a bad strategy. What's the best strategy? Let me introduce you to step 1. Don't react. Go to the balcony. We'll get into what going to the balcony means in a little bit. The focus in this step is to not react based on your feelings, even if you were triggered and you were hurt. Step number 2 is to disarm them. Step to their side. Don't argue. You step to their side and try to see the world from their perspective. You thank your spouse for protecting the financial interests of your family and tell him how much you appreciate him. Step 3 is reframe and change the game. Instead of rejecting what he said, you accept it and you reframe it. You reframe it by telling him that purchasing a new Tesla electric car will save $300 a month in gas. Reframing works because every message is subject to interpretation. You have the power of positive perception, the ability to put a problem-solving frame around whatever the other side says. Reframing is one of the greatest powers you have as a negotiator. The way to change the game is to change the frame. Then you close the deal with step number 4. You build them a golden bridge. Your job is to build a golden bridge for them to cross over to your side. You build a golden bridge for your spouse by adding a delight factor. You tell him that not only will you save $300 a month, but Lily, your teen daughter, can drive your car, the one you can't wait to get rid of. She can drive it to school and drop off her younger siblings at school on her way. This frees your spouse from the morning drop-off at school routine he's been doing for years and complains all the time about. The deal gets done. You get your new Tesla, your spouse has mornings free before work, your teen daughter thinks you're the coolest mom in the world for letting her drive the car to school, and your little ones are super excited because they have their older sister take them to school every single day. You win and everyone else wins too. Now, don't we all wish negotiations were that easy? The reality is that difficult people bring about difficult negotiations that trigger us. For women, their greatest fear in negotiating is their own emotions, losing control of them. It's important for women to understand their emotions and how to manage them in negotiations, but don't worry, we are going to spend some time on emotional triggers and how to manage them in our next lesson. Preparation is key to success in negotiations, but it is perhaps even more important to prepare your emotional strategy. Think about your last difficult negotiation, where you responded in a way that you're not proud of. Now ask yourself the following questions. What happened during the negotiation that triggered me and caused me to act the way that I did? What did I say or do that might have triggered my counterpart to feel angry or be dismissive? Spending some time answering these questions will help you be proactive in your future difficult negotiations. In the next lesson, you will take a deep dive into identifying your emotional triggers and learn how to manage them so they don't control you and derail you in your future negotiations. Your homework before the next lesson is to watch the Serena Williams US Open video. While you're watching the video, pay close attention to what triggers her and think of ways she could have prevented the outcome.